What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here today to talk about the little guys. That's right. We are taking a glance at the numbers for the smaller grading companies: Arena Club, Tag, HGA. A couple things just kind of want to throw out there before we get rolling here. The last month when I did this video, a lot of people were like, "Hey, what about company X or company Y or company Z or company FCG or company GMA?" Those are really the two big ones, honestly, FCG and GMA. Can you look at their numbers? What are they doing? The problem is, and I talked to Gemrate about this, is that they're either in GMA's case, I don't believe they have a public pop report. So that's how he gets his data to track. They have to have a public pop report that they update regularly. That's the problem with FCG. They have a population report. He captured the data, but it hasn't been updated in over a month. So you can't track anything to show numbers if you don't have an accurate pop report. And to be honest, if you don't have a pop report or a non-accurate pop report, that to me is an immediate red flag to begin with. So take that for what you will. But that's the reason those two specifically are not included, because a lot of people did ask about those in the comments last time we did this video. The other thing is, like, these numbers are going to swing wildly. Arena Clubs, he had a couple months worth of data on them, or we discussed a couple months worth. Their numbers go all over the place depending on what sort of special that they run. Now, I don't track their pricing or anything like that. I assume they must have had some kind of deal. I don't know. But when they pull the lever, it's like super cheap and they get a boatload of cards graded. So that's why you see that I'm assuming that's why you see that 6,800 number there. So they did a little under 7,000 cards in October. And once again, these are estimates. They're pretty close. Tag did around 5,000. That's 1,000 card increase from the previous month, which I believe was an increase from the previous month before that as well. So that is good to see some consistent growth there. HGA dipped a little bit down to 1,800. Once again, it's hard to draw a lot of conclusion from these numbers because we've really just started kind of digging into them the last month here. I believe at some point in time in the near future, they will be added to the greater monthly recaps that Gemrate does over there. He's just got to put together the pieces on the back end. It wasn't ready for prime time for this month. So we'll get a more formal version of this like he does at some point in time. So I don't know if there's like any like crazy macro level takeaways here. The other day I did that PSA 6 to 10, crack out, came back a 10 video, and the comment section was pretty divided on that one. It was kind of funny, and the great debate around Tag specifically, because to be honest, that's probably the one that matters the most on this list. I still don't know that HGA survives. I don't know Arena Club. Are they a grading company or are they more a slabbing company for their vault and marketplace? I don't really know. You know what I mean? But Tag is the one that gets the most vocal support on it, both for and against. You either get the Tag bots yelling in the comments or people posting laughing emojis on the Tag bot comments. It usually goes one of two ways. And on that 6 to 10 video, a lot of people in the comments were like, I want fair and accurate grading. I want consistent grading. That's why Tag's such a big deal. You should send it to them. That's essentially the case. And then the other dominating theme in the comments was, which is kind of funny, you do a video that you crack out a PSA 6 to 10, and who knows why it got to 6? Who the hell knows why it got to 10? But the narrative is that, PSA is inconsistent, this, that, the other thing. But do people, and I'm going to paint with a broad brush here, so everyone calm down. I don't know that most people honestly care about fair and consistent. I've talked about this. I probably did a video very similar to this at some point in time. Most people submitting a card to grade, they don't care the who, what, when, where, or why. They just want to see it say 10 in the corner. Because a large majority of people, I assume, are grading to eventually sell the card, whether that's get the sub back and immediately post it on eBay, or trade it, or whatever, they are grading to turn it into a more liquid commodity. That's the purpose of their grading. So they don't necessarily want fair, consistent, and accurate. They want the one that sells for the most. And we've been over this time and time again. People love to bash PSA in the comments, but then they sell in ultra modern and modern for, I don't know, 30 to 40% more than SGC and a Beckett 9.5, an SGC 10 and a Beckett 9.5. Tag, I looked, it's tricky. There's just not a lot of consistency in regards to them grading the same cards over and over and over again, and then those cards selling. So it's hard to get like more than like 1 or 2 off comp comparisons. A few of the things that I looked at, I looked at, I forget who it was. Was it a Cooper Cup Downtown? In a Tag 10 was selling for the same or less than raw. So, and I'm not saying that that's indicative of everything, but generally speaking, Tag's resale prices are not that great. Will that change over time? It could. But I would say a bulk of people grading care more about that, the resale value. They care more about what the card is going to sell for and how easy it's going to sell on the secondary market, more than they care about getting a fair or consistent or accurate grade. How do I know this? Because once again, go back and read the comments on that video. There was a ton of comments of people going, I'm not ever going to use PSA again. How the hell could they ever do this? They're completely inaccurate. They never get anything correct. It was, man, I'm going to go buy some low-end PSA cards and crack them out and send them back to PSA. That's the exact opposite of wanting fair and consistent grading. You're cracking out lower grading cards because you think they were graded inaccurately or unfairly, hoping to get a higher grade to be able to sell it. Because people care more about the money than the cards or the grade. That's what matters for, once again, a bulk. Not all. Painting with a broad brush. Everyone calm down. Some people send to these companies for PC. They want it in a certain slab. I do that with a lot of CGC stuff. I don't necessarily care that it adds value or as much value as a PSA 10. I just want the card to look nice in the slab. Now, I prefer to send to one of the big 4 grading companies. I personally do not like the pop-ups. At least on the big 4, if something goes sideways and I need to get out of the card or whatever, it is in a established brand's hands. The problem with the smaller companies, or not, I guess not the problem, my fear is what happens if something happens to the company and they go away? Now what? Now I'm stuck really holding the bag. I got to crack that card out and send it to another company, and then who the hell knows what it's going to grade. That's more time, more investment in. So half the comment section clamors for fair and accurate grading, and the other half clamors for profit and maximizing profit and value. So I don't know what to tell you guys. Is the case for Tag that, they are consistently accurately going to grade the same card over and over and over and over and over again? Sure. Maybe it could do that. The problem is I don't know that enough people care. Now, could minds change? Could things shift? Sure. But I feel like that's like glacier movements. People have been saying the same thing over and over again for years now, that the value gap of everything else in a PSA 10 makes no sense. And in a lot of cases, it doesn't. I get it. But over the same time, that gap has not narrowed that much. And in some cases, PSA to Beckett, it's actually widened. Because sadly, the brand of the slab matters more than the card in a lot of cases, or for a lot of people. And until that sentiment changes, and I don't know if it will or when it will, this is where we're at. Where people don't care about fair and accurate. They care about cracking 6s out and maybe getting a higher grade to sell it. We'll make the elevator pitch for Tag. So let's say, what is the perfect world that Tag could actually rise up and challenge one of the big grading companies at some point in time in the future? In my mind, it's acquisition by Fanatics. Listen, I know they've said on multiple occasions, they're not looking to potentially sell. They want to expand, grow the business, whatever. Sure. If Fanatics comes a knocking and Fanatics dumped a truckload of money, bottom, and then they kind of rolled out because essentially Tag's model, I believe, the way that they describe themselves, is that there would be a tag grading machine anywhere that they would want to put one, and anyone could just kind of go in and essentially grade a card on site without any real adult supervision, I guess. I think that's like the utopia end goal dream of the tag machine. And so if Fanatics came in, they'd have to get the algorithm working or whatever it is that they're doing to grade older cards. That would be mandatory. Number one is getting caught up with grading older stuff, including vintage. And I don't know how good it is at something like that. Fanatics dumps a bunch of money into it, and then all of a sudden they start dropping their Fanatics grading. One, that Tag is gone. They are Fanatics grading. They're not Tag anymore. They start dropping these pods or whatever you want to call it around at lids, stadiums, card shops, Card Collector 2, Jeff Wilson's store, Costa Cards, Indie Card Exchange, whatever, and anyone could just walk in and grade the card. That's the case for them going to the moon. The problem with that is they're not Tag anymore. Like I said, if that actually happened, I don't think they'd be Tag anymore. I don't know that they could pull that off under their current branding without someone buying them. Maybe they can. Maybe they will prove me wrong. I don't know. But I think the case for them ascending and actually running down some of these bigger companies is someone larger buying them, taking the tech and rolling it out wide. I just think they're moving too slow to catch on to the masses in the mainstream. And then, like I said, there's the resale value problem. No one's been able to figure that out. No one's been able to figure out how to close the gap on resale with PSA. It just is what it is for right now. Could it change? Maybe. We'll see. Could Tag be the number one grader where we all send our cards? Maybe one day it will be. People say like, hey, Neo, you hate Tag, or you love PSA, or you love CGC, you love SGC. Anyone that's been a viewer for the channel for a really long time knows my take on grading. They all suck. They all suck. All the grading companies suck to some degree or another. They all have a thing that we don't like about them. And for the most part, unless I'm grading for PC, if I am grading to sell, to flip, to move, I am a mercenary. If PSA did not have the number one resale value and it was Tag, regardless of what I think about them, every card that I bought to grade to sell slabbed would go to Tag. And I have a feeling I'm not the only person that's like that. If PSA wasn't the number one on resale value, if it was a different company, guess what? That company would get a lot of the business. But I don't know how you change the mentality around that. I really don't. We continue to see it every day. Last time I did a video like this, I pulled a bunch of different examples up. I haven't checked resale values in, a hot minute. Maybe that'll be a future video. We'll dive in and see, has any of this stuff changed that much with card prices coming down? Maybe it has. Maybe the gap's narrowing more than I think that it is. But I don't have the data on that handy right now. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a deep dive on that. But until that changes, if SGC, who I notoriously love the company, I hate the case. If SGC started selling for 40% more than everybody else, guess what? I could care less about that case. Every card I buy to sell is going straight to them. So keep that in mind. All the grading companies suck, and be a grading mercenary. Use the right tool for the job. And there are plenty of tools in the tool shed right now when it comes to grading companies. That's all I got for you, boys and girls. Catch you on the next one. Peace.